Hello， 大家好，欢迎收看瞧瞧艺术。我们今天要来拜访一位画家，叫做 Мichelle Jane Lee。她除了是画家之外，也将韩国的传统料理融入到她的创作理念之中。我们今天要来拜访她的 studio， 现在跟我一起进来瞧瞧吧。Hi,
what's up? How are you? Hey guys, my name is Michelle Jane Lee and I'm a Korean American artist based in Los Angeles, and this is my studio, so welcome.
So we're here at Michelle's studio. We're just gonna chit chat and then
Sounds good.
whatever that comes to mind. How would you describe your work to like a stranger, to someone that has never seen your art?
Yeah, well, I think maybe it just as like a more general, broader sense, not just the series that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I feel like all of my work has always been a very like, personal and sensitive work that stems from super emotional space. I mean, my work is minimal and super clean, so I don't think people at first think that, oh, this is about anything beyond maybe formal or pushing the formal boundaries, right? But they've always been about like feelings. And even the work now obviously has to do with like my like struggles of being Korean and American, and it's, I don't know if you get that when you see it, but for me, my emotions I just process in these very weird like shapes and colors instead of maybe like making a figurative painting showing like myself. But it's like, this is just how I see things, you know?
I like that it's not immediately
because again, like both sides of me have existed within myself for a long time, but I realized when people looked at my previous work, it looked as if all I was
they just saw the
is a rigid,
precise
exactly. And I was like,
side.
no, I'm like not that. I'm like a really funny person. I'm like wilder than I like, you know, like I've like kind of like, I used to only have sort of serious tattoos that were like very much about like art and like poetry. And I was like, well, like I'm not just like these like things. So yeah, I wanted people to see, or for myself to also allow myself to show all sides of myself.
Just like share with us a little bit about your background, you know, either art related or anything that you want to tell us about yourself.
So I was born in California, but when I was 2, my family moved me back to Korea, where they're from. So from 2 until 12, I lived in Korea. And I actually, when I was little in Korea, my mom used to study art, so she was, she was like really into the idea of like me taking art classes, and I was actually really good at it. So they were very encouraging.
That's kind of the opposite of most, I would say, Asian families.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, so I think I was lucky to have like kind of a cool mom, but also like thankfully, like I guess I happened to still get really good grades in school, so I feel like they're like,
so they're like,
all right, like
you're
you're getting A's, so here's another thing you can do. But then when we moved back to America, actually like immediately I was in 6th grade, and I was just like so good at math and science right away because, no offense America, but your math is like way behind Korea, so I was just getting A+ and everything without trying. So then I just went this direction of just studying, you know, like math, science, all that. And through high school, I was actually gonna be either go to pre-med, be a doctor, or be a research scientist. Just forgot about art. I was like, oh yeah, this is like so easy and fun. But then my junior year of high school, I took one art class just to be like, I used to like art. Let's see what happens.
Was it a drawing class or painting class?
It was actually just like an open studio class, which was interesting.
Like anything,
So
everything.
yeah, and I had an amazing teacher, and something just clicked when I was like, wait, I think this is actually what I want.
Curious about the surface.
Yeah.
How do you make that wavy?
Yeah, so I'm using what's called soft molding paste from Golden. It's an acrylic medium that allows you to put in any texture and it will hold and dry as such. But I can actually even show you what I use to create the actual patterns. So I made this guy. It actually used to be just a squeegee for screen printing.
Yeah.
And I carved into this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I just put down the medium, and I started pushing, and moving it around.
Do you have different sizes of these?
Right now, just this one. But for the little guys, I actually have a tool that I purchased. But when I wanted to go bigger, there was nothing else available already. So that's when I came up with my own tool for it.
So smart.
Yeah, but I definitely want to explore different textures too. So I think I will make more tools. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite things that I ever made. This series is called Landslide, and again, like you see the movement of these two shapes,
sliding shapes,
right? So this is about being Korean American and like struggles of that. And when I first made this body of work, I actually didn't know what it was about. This was about 3 years ago that I started, where I did these textures and started putting on top of it these really precise, like stark colors. And at first I was like, why am I like doing these two at the same place? And then I thought about it a little bit more, and then I realized these really represent like who I am and the struggles that I'm having. I think my Korean side has always pushed me to be perfect in like, in any way possible. So I think that surface was my sort of like American side, right, being crazier. But then my Korean side's coming in and been like, whoa, hold on. Prior to this body of work, all of my work had just been about precision. I've always just used rulers, grids. Like I said, when I was younger, I loved like math and science, and people would always be like, oh, it shows in my work. And I was like, oh, that's strange. But you can see some of these weird ones, like it's all like really precise, like the ones you were mentioning earlier with the lines. So there was never an element of play. So 3 years ago, I found that medium that I told you about and started playing with it. And then initially, these shapes weren't on there. It was just the playfulness. But again, like when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's also not me. I'm not just this either. And that's when I started putting the shapes on, and again, going with the precision and the perfection idea. And then I'm like, okay, this feels like me. It's both sides. It's a crazy one and, well, crazy precise ones. They're both crazy, but just in a different way. Yeah. It's like, that's like kind of how they started.
Do you feel like LA is the place for you to be, like, at this time?
Yeah.
What do you think about the art scene?
I mean, yes, definitely LA is the place to be. So I came here 10 years ago, and I was in Chicago, which obviously is a really big city, but I was deciding between LA and New York. And at the time, I wasn't sure if this was the right decision, and I wanted to move to New York only after being here for a couple of years. But now all of my artist friends in New York actually moved to LA. It's sort of where it's happening. There's more energy to it. It's younger. It's more alive.
I do feel about LA that way too, because
it's a great place to be.
It's like yourself. You can do this, but you also have sun. So that kind of leads to sun.
Sure, yeah.
Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so Sung is it's an extension of my studio practice, I would say, definitely. And because since my work has been about being a Korean American person, Sung is a mix of my art with food. So what I do is create dishes that are super Korean in flavor and taste, and it's a lot of what I ate growing up. But again, because I grew up in America and have a lot of other influences in technique and plating of the dishes, it looks a little bit more what you think of like Western style food, right? So it's like the two things, like Korean flavor, Western techniques coming together and being presented in a way that these paintings are like, again, the wilder American side and like the more strict Korean side coming together. So I present an evening of 10 courses, tasting menu of food that I cook. And
which I had.
Yeah, thank you.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
have any prior training, like in cooking? Or?
No, just being obsessed with food. My mother and I are very close. So Sung is actually my mom's Korean name. Kind of a crazy.
Her last name?
Her actually maiden name's Chun. Sung is her Korean like first name.
First name.
But 3 years ago, she became an American citizen
Okay.
and got rid of her Korean name. So
Okay.
she became just Susan Lee, which was her English name that she was going by. So I feel like there's something really beautiful about taking her name that she had to give up to be an American citizen.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, just putting it out there, right?
Yeah.
But another thing is, so when I moved from Korea to here at 12,
yeah.
there was a lot of really good cooking shows on television. This was before like cooking shows were cool, but I was watching PBS and seeing like Julia Child. Do you know Yang Can Cook? Do you know who he is? He's this huge like Chinese chef guy.
Really?
But
he was on TV a lot?
Yeah, I was on PBS. And like, it was like crazy like, you know, Chinese man like doing, and he's like on TV in 1994.
Yeah.
Which I feel like.
And you see some kind of representation, like
exactly,
Asian
yeah. So I think, again, I was thinking about like myself and cooking and like the fact that one of the first people that I saw doing this was an Asian man.
Yeah.
I don't think, again, I wasn't conscious of what that meant, but I feel like it almost showed me that in cooking, you can do anything, no matter who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I was always drawn to that as this sort of like universal form of art.
Yeah.
Food and cooking always made me feel like anyone is welcome. So I think that's why I've been wanting to, or that's maybe why I started cooking so much, is that, yeah, I don't know, it just felt like a very open space. Okay.
And how do you come up with the menu?
So for the first, so this is, I just started, 4 months ago now. I'm creating now. I was thinking a lot about just my personal favorite dishes. And so much about it is about memory of childhood. So a lot of it is what I ate growing up. And also food that I feel like is not represented in America.
And it's vegan?
It's vegan. And the reason for doing vegan food is partly my partner's vegan, but also LA has like the best Korean food, right? You can go get any amazing Korean barbecue, any chicken soup, chicken stew, and these are run by incredible like mom and pop shops, people that have been doing it for years. They're like the ones that do it right. It's like, why would I need to open up my own Korean restaurant and be in their space when they're already doing it? So it felt like a space that I can create without stepping on toes of Koreans that have been doing it for way longer than me, right? The ones that have like paved the way to finally make non-Koreans appreciate Korean food. So by doing vegan, it's a completely new genre, right? Yeah. And it doesn't have to compete, but it can coexist.
Yeah.